All right, now I'm going to talk about Critter Country. Critter Country is the lazy cartoon forest animal section of the park. It is, just to orient you, this is the center hub of Disneyland, and Critter Country is a little country right over here, a little section of the park right over here. So it's really just about this big, which is 4 acres, and you can see it's like 1/25 of the park. All right, so Critter Country was the 7th land to open up in 1974, and before that, this area was just an Indian village in Disneyland. And at some point after that, they renamed it to Bear Country. That's Critter Country there. And the only way out is to go south to New Orleans Square or north up to Galaxy's Edge is that way. I'm going to start off with the attractions. The main one is Splash Mountain. That is one of the best rides in Disneyland. It's the fastest. It might be the tallest. It's mountain-based. The mountain's called Chicopee Hill. I think it's the only ride where the mountain is not named the same thing as the ride. Like Space Mountain is the ride and the mountain, and Matterhorn is the ride and the mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. But this one's Chicopee Hill, and Splash Mountain is the ride. The second ride is over here. It's canoes, Davy Crockett's Explorer canoes. So those are canoes that about 20 guests get in with 1 or 2 river guides, and you have a real paddle, and you really paddle all the way around the island and come back to here. And it's not a race. There's lots of stuff to look at. It takes, I think, 10 minutes, and you're probably going to beat those the big sailing ship and the riverboat around because you're just smaller and more agile. But it also depends on how fast your group rows. That's I think it's open on the weekends during the winter, and then every day in the summer. And the third and final ride is over here, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So this is a little ride where you are in you climb into a little beehive that goes through a series of little dioramas. It's a dark ride, like any of the rides that you would find in Fantasyland. And it's based on all the characters from Winnie the Pooh, like Tigger and Eeyore. And you go through the ride, and you meet Winnie's friends, and then you go through a dream sequence, and then you emerge at his birthday party, and then you're out. And I think it's about a 10-minute ride, like no time at all. No, it's a 3-minute ride. All right, so those are the 3 attractions. There is the railroad goes through it. The train goes through Critter Country, but there's no station here. It tunnels through Splash Mountain and then emerges onto a bridge over the crowds at Splash Mountain. So that's probably the most fun part of the railroad trip, is going over the crowd. And then you head into the mountains and you see more wilderness, and eventually you get up to Galaxy's Edge. Or I guess you don't really go into Galaxy's Edge, but you're up to it. Critter Country is themed on the Pacific Northwest of America, so Washington State and Oregon and Northern California. And there's plenty of trees and, like I said before, cartoon animals. Because it used to be Bear Country, there is an emphasis on the lifestyle of bears, and I'll put Winnie the Pooh into that category. And there's hibernation and honey and hiding places. All right, moving on. I'm going to talk about every place you can get food in Critter Country. The first of those is the Hungry Bear restaurant. That was previously the Golden Bear restaurant. And it looks kind of huge. I've never been inside, but you order from a counter and then you find your own place to sit. And they've got American food. I think they've got burgers and a fried green tomato sandwich there. I know that about it. And a lot of the tables have a great view of the river. And then they've also got the harbor galley, which I'm assuming has like fish and chips, but I don't know. And then the snacking place, I believe, is here. And they also have a fruit cart, which I think is over here. That's the entrance. Next, I want to talk about the stores. There are two. There is Pooh Corner over here, where you're obviously it's chock full of Winnie the Pooh merchandise. And because there is a little section here for character meet and greets, you could see Winnie the Pooh there, or Eeyore, or Tigger here. And then the other stores over here, it's the Briar Patch, which has souvenirs for Splash Mountain and other Critter Country stuff. The Winnie the Pooh ride replaced the Country Bear Jamboree, which was the main attraction to Bear Country, which was an animatronic bear show. So that's where I think there were, I don't know, 40 bears or something that did like 10 songs. It was a 15-minute show. And it reminds me of the animated Tiki Room, the Enchanted Tiki Room, but with bears instead. And that was very popular, and then crashed and became less popular, and it was replaced. Pooh's Adventure opened in 2003. Something else about Country Bear Jamboree is that having a band of animated bears was the inspiration for the Chuck E. Cheese band. Splash Mountain is really Disneyland's only water ride where you're gonna get wet. So it's also Disneyland's fastest ride because the log goes down that 45-degree angle at 40 miles an hour. So that's Disneyland's fastest ride. It has a height requirement of 40 inches, and it cost $75 million to make. Splash Mountain is the story of a mountain that's been flooded due to a raccoon's moonshine still exploding, destroying some beavers' dams, and flooding the mountain. So that's why there's water running through all of the caves of this mountain. And it also tells the story of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. And the rabbit is being chased by the fox and the bear, and they keep trying to trap him, but he outsmarts them. So they try to capture him in a cage, and they end up catching him in a beehive, and then he tricks them into throwing him into the briar patch down here. So that's what you're experiencing when you come down the river flume towards the briar patch. That's what the rabbit wanted, because he was born and raised in the briar patch, so he didn't think of it as dangerous at all, and he was fine. The first rides in the grand opening were executives who got to ride the ride for the first time, and they were getting soaked. So they actually changed the ride because executives are like, that's too wet, we don't want to be soaking wet. And that might have been because they were executives, but in any case, they redesigned it a bit so that the logs hold a few fewer people and are less likely to really soak you. So that's it. That's Critter Country. It's a nice little land that has two unique rides. It's got Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes, which is a guest-powered ride around the river. And it's got Splash Mountain, which is a log flume that is just packed with 100 animatronic figures and great scenes throughout. And it's the best way to cool down on a hot day, especially if you brought a fast pass.